everybody, to another episode of Multiplayer, where we're talking about video games and all the news related to such playable things. I'm your host, Guillermo Dorado, and with me today are my co-hosts, Zach Matsganis.
What up?
And Javier Ortiz.
Hello again.
Man, you guys are really rocking the blue shirts today.
Yeah.
I didn't get the memo. I don't know where
Mine's more blue, though.
Well, it fits the theme with a certain something, so.
I get it.
Yeah.
Multiple things, actually, depending.
Yeah.
I like it. Whoa! Already getting into the show. Well, guys, if you're listening to this via podcast on YouTube or Google Play, I want to let you guys know that, a little bit of a secret, though, we also have a YouTube channel. You can watch this on a screen of some sort.
You said YouTube and Google Play.
Yeah, I think you can do that, too.
iTunes.
No, it's
Google
not.
Play.
I'm trying to, like, stop.
And then they watch
here's the
YouTube?
thing. Apple just keeps wanting to put all their stuff. No, podcast is on iTunes and Google Play. I did misspoke. Yeah, you can also watch this on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/multiplayer, and you can, take this, take a seat, take a shit, and you can watch us there too. It's literally, it's up to you. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can also listen to us on a podcast and take us on the go, in the car, rocking your dog, beating your children.
Rocking
whatever.
your dog?
If you gotta like just go on the side. Anyway. But yeah, so that's the whole thing. We're just all sorts today. I like it.
know.
We're all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, you are.
I know, I'm kind of having a good time about it.
What a good host.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Lastly, though, we do have a Patreon page, and if you want to go check that out, we do have extra content there just for $1 more, and it also help us out and make the show a lot bigger and better for you guys who we love. Who loves? You love. We love. We all love.
I love it a little.
And that's done with that stuff. Guys, there's some things we got to talk about, and the first thing I want to talk about is something we actually already talked about. How many times can I say talked about in the same sentence? I don't know. Let's see if I can say it again. Talked about Uncharted 4 a couple episodes ago, and it's about to come out here on Sunday. 22nd? Tuesday. It's coming out on the 22nd.
Tuesday.
The Lost Legacy, not Uncharted 4.
No, it's they're remastering it, re-releasing that too.
Oh, okay. Well, that's breaking news to me. Remastering on the same system?
No, Uncharted 4 Lost Legacy is finally going to be dropping soon. It used to be, it was released as like a DLC, like announcement, but now it's pretty much its own standalone game.
Yeah, this is
pretty much.
Yeah, it's getting a physical copy and everything. But I gotta tell you, it's looking better and better. Yeah. Sony already sent out the codes for all the reviewers to go ahead and get their hands on early access and give all their numbers and everything, so all the people can be like, do I need to buy this game? Have someone tell me it? And they're like, yes.
Yeah.
So the reviews that they're getting right now, Metacritic's saying it's getting an 86%, and IGN gave it a 7.5. Pretty promising coming out the gate. But there's a lot of things about this game that are really kind of setting it apart from Uncharted 4, as well as not so. So the first thing that is doing that is they have a level, it's actually the second level in the game. It's kind of like a large quasi-open world level. It's called the West Ghats, which is essentially like the mountain range in India, where the whole game is pretty much set. But it's what Naughty Dog has said on record as the biggest map that they've made for one of their games. And it kind of has its own like non-linear structure where you can kind of go and pick where you want to go, where you want to tackle first. Right. Kind of in the same, what is that 12th mission in Uncharted 4, the towers. That mission, kind of in that realm, but a little bit more exploratory.
Right.
The only thing that a lot of people are saying, though, about this game is that it's kind of rehashing some of the old set pieces and, remixing, I guess, things from like all the way back to Uncharted 1 to the fourth one. So it's kind of a mixed bag of things here.
Yeah. Which I kind of expected.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't looking for them to reinvent the wheel. This is like, it's just one of those things they're taking the same assets from Uncharted 4 and just kind of making a kind of a DLC plus. It's just something where it's like it's a little more than DLC, but it's still like, it's Uncharted 4. It's like they're taking those assets and they're just doing a little more with them.
You're not getting Uncharted 5.
Yeah,
it's not the,
right.
Yeah, so it's like, you gotta understand it's, you think about something like Majora's Mask, and it's like, oh, why are these townspeople the same? It's like they're just using the same assets, but it's a new story. They're doing something different. They're having some fun with it. It's kind of like the other Uncharted games because that's Uncharted.
It's the same style.
Exactly.
But now you get to play as two really cool characters instead of just Drake.
Yeah, and that's another thing that they keep saying too is like the dynamic kind of relationship between Chloe and Nadine it's not something that we're used to seeing in competitive characters with Uncharted series. Like, you know, usually have like some kind of sarcastic banter, but it's like in a brotherly kind of fashion between Sully and Nathan. But now it's more like Nadine's very straight edge and doesn't really play well with Chloe's sarcasm, and you watch their relationship kind of grow. And like that's another thing that people are really liking about this game is that you know there is no Nathan Drake, but some people are saying that the game is better for it. You know, they really like the personalities that we have here on.
I'm sure their chemistry is like, and doesn't that have an impact on the game itself?
It does, yeah. So depending on how well they're getting along in the game, it determines how well your AI companion, which is Nadine, will fight or kind of help you out in the situation. So it's dynamic all over the place, and I mean that's a pretty interesting thing. I mean, you know, that's a gimmick that they haven't, not a gimmick, but a mechanic they haven't really put in one of their games before. So I'm excited about that. Besides that, you know, the puzzles now too are a little less guided, so it's a little bit more challenging to do more puzzles. And of course, you know, the polish on these games are going to be phenomenal. It looks gorgeous.
Naughty Dog knows how to make a good-looking game.
Yeah,
hands down, they just do that.
So
are you guys you're gonna pick it up, right?
Yeah, I think we're probably all gonna play, right?
Yeah,
that's presumptuous. Okay.
Well, the two of us are at least.
No, I think it'd be worth it to get that game, and I think we need to
absolutely
dive deep in that. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Dive real deep into Chloe and Nadine.
You know, I don't want to go there, but
okay.
Oh, he went.
He went.
Oh, he went.
He explored, if you will. Another game that actually released as well and is getting pretty good feedback is Sonic Mania.
Yeah,
which is quite surprising
it's
considering Sonic sucks. I don't know. Well, okay, before we talk about the game, I kind of want to hear you guys' opinion on the game. I know. Well, yeah, you can start. Let's keep the trend going.
Sonic sucks.
Great. And Javier?
I like Sonic.
Well, you're wrong.
Well, you suck then.
On the internet, there's only it sucks or this is the greatest thing ever, but it probably sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but like, do you guys? I have a weird relationship with Sonic. Like, I consider that a dentist game, which makes no sense. Here's the context.
The dentist.
So, where I'm from in the South, my father's dentist, he'd have to take me, you know, like while he got his teeth checked or whatever, and I would just like sit in the waiting room, and they had the Game Gears, so just like plugged to the wall.
What?
I know. It was the only time I ever played Sega.
Yeah.
It was pretty fucking awesome. But that's like where I played, you know, like Sonic 1 and 2, and especially 3. And it's like I played it there on the Game Gear. Yeah, I'm making things up. It was a Sonic game. I don't really like the game. I never sought it out.
It was Sonic. Yeah. It was on a Sega console.
There was a blue guy. He was running real fast, and then you hit a rock or like a ledge, and then you have to like work your momentum back up, and it was real boring. So no, but that's kind of like I liked it. You know, like when I picked it up and played it as a child, you know, as a kid, and it was a lot of fun. But I never like wanted to seek it out. It was never a game that like it gripped me. You know, like because we also in the same dentist had Pokemon Yellow.
What? This dentist is what? Like, I want to go to this dentist now.
But it's kind of because that's a game Pokemon. Because like people would come in and just like continue the game. So you just like jump in. You're like, why do I have all these Beedrills? Like I don't need all these fucking Beedrills.
They're all day fart.
But that game like that gripped me. Like I wanted to like seek that out and play it more. But Sonic never did that. Like so, how was your experiences with like Sonic?
I mean, so I was more of a Nintendo kid growing up, but I definitely had a Genesis and a Saturn and a Dreamcast and all that. And you know, I mean, I've played Sonic 1, 2. You know, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic CD, the Sonic Adventure games. I've had a lot of experience with Sonic, but it's just like it's never been as good as other platformers out there. It's not like a Mario game. I think the level design in pretty much every Mario game, 2D or 3D, is just so much better than any Sonic game. Like I wish Sonic Team would just give the IP over to Nintendo because I feel like they would actually.
That'd actually
really I think they would
really
actually do it right, especially like 3D. Like I don't know why Sonic Team can't figure out how to operate like a camera in a virtual space.
They had one good level.
Which one?
Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, the opening level. Yeah, that is like the best Sonic 3D experience. I mean, the song grabs you immediately, but it's just
dumb.
It's the level is just a great level.
I feel like they worked on that level for like 3 years and then phoned it in for everything.
Well, actually, they had the song first, and they based the entire game around that song. Interesting enough,
But so it's one of those things that like I've played a bunch of them, and there's some cool things about it. Like Sonic the Hedgehog himself, and Knuckles is an awesome character. I like Tails. Amy can go die.
Jeez, it's a good supporting cast of characters.
But it's like Robotnik is a fun, goofy boss, and honestly, probably my favorite Sonic game is probably Mean
I
Bean
like the character
Machine.
design of Dr.
But anyways,
Robotnik. He got creepier as they made him more realistic. But like back in the day,
well, because
Eggman
the
was
more
cool.
realistic he gets, the more like kind of pedophile he looks.
That's true.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's just it's one of those things. It's like the games are fine, but it's just something where it's like the concept of like going fast, but then everything is in your way of going fast.
Yeah, I know.
just-
And it slows you down. You have to work. I don't know.
Yeah.
The controls, like the momentum of that game was just like all over the place, and
it'd
it
be
lend
like-
itself to keep
It'd be
playing.
like playing like a Forza game where it's just like, oh yeah, I'm in this like dope car, I can go 400 miles an hour or whatever, and it's like, what do you mean there's like a tree in my way?
No,
What
it
do
just
mean
keeps
there's, like,
stalling.
spikes
You
in the
actually
way?
actually
There's
stall
red
in the
lights.
game.
It's like, well, I
It's
can't
just
do
like-
anything.
But it's like, but I want to go forward.
It's like playing Forza on LA's 405. So it's just like, I
Oh, that
can't
would
move.
Be the worst. That's
Yeah.
actually, I heard they're making that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a really upsetting
Really?
VR simulator.
Yeah, it's just like,
It's called road
you're just
rage,
stuck in
yeah.
traffic.
So it's
Terrible.
so as far as like Sonic Mania, it's like I'm glad it's there for the people that, for some reason, like those games
Sure.
and want to go back and play it. It's not necessarily for me, but there are people out there that love those games, and it's like I'm glad that they're getting the chance to play something that seems like a good version of those old 2D games.
Yeah.
I
A
think
great
with Sonic,
homage.
What was the Sonic game? Was it Sonic
I'm
3
so hungry.
Yeah.
God, my stomach, man.
What was no? It was Sonic 4. That was that was the 2D game that came out a couple years back, right? It was Sonic 4 because they were
If it
coming
didn't have
out
that
in
song, I didn't
chapters.
play it.
Because it was like yeah, it was Sonic 4, right? It was
It was 2D?
yeah. Because they were like, oh yeah, we're going back to our roots, and
I don't remember.
just
I have
nobody
no
liked
idea.
it.
What you're
That's
talking
probably
about.
why I
Yeah,
don't
so-
remember it. It was terrible.
Was that before or after the one where he becomes a knight and a werewolf, and then Shadow has guns?
Actually, it's after all that.
Oh,
But those
okay.
are all terrible 3D games.
Yeah,
sorry.
it's so bad.
But this was like, yeah, we're going back to our roots. We're making this Sonic game, but it didn't seem like anybody liked it, and it came out in chapters where it's just like,
I don't remember this
So
at all.
wait, how was your experience
all-
with Sonic?
For me, so Sonic and the Sega consoles were always a system to me that I never had because I had a Super Nintendo, but my cousins always had. So like it was like the cousin system.
Yeah,
for
was
me.
it very
Whenever
like, hey,
I-
come over, play Sonic?
Yeah,
and
whenever
never
I
own
like
it.
for family things, I'd hang out with my cousins and we'd play Sonic. And the one thing I loved about the classic Sonic games on Genesis were the two-player racing. I thought that was the coolest part about it because like it's top bottom of the screen and you're just racing and there's nothing in your way. It's like what it feels like should be Sonic because you're just hauling ass across stage. But playing those games on single player, one thing that I always appreciated, I always like Sonic, the classic Sonics. I think they're fine.
You're wrong, but yeah.
Whatever, but
No, I'm just kidding.
I'll give them.
No, I'm joking.
I
It is a
think they're
fun
fine.
game. It just like it never, I
like
was
one
never
thing I always
drawn to it.
appreciated, I always thought they had really good music. Like I thought, like the Green Hill Zone is still a staple,
Definitely a
and
good
Sonic 3, you had Michael Jackson design some tracks, which is really cool.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Michael Jackson
You
worked
could
on.
literally make that up, and I think I believe you here because like that's
No, it's real. He worked
sounds
on
outrageous.
Sonic the
but I
Hedgehog
think-
3.
That's insane.
I promise you, he did. But yeah, no, like stuff like that. Chemical Plant Zone and Sonic 2 was an awesome soundtrack. And the only thing that bothered me was, it's like you said, the concept of going fast and things stopping you. The only time that never really was a factor was when you finally collected all the Chaos Emeralds and you were supersonic. Because at that point, you could just jump over shit and like just you're invincible, so nothing stops you. The spikes don't stop you. Like you just go.
How the whole game should just.
And that's the thing. Like you have
Yeah.
once you earn that, it's really fun.
And that's the thing too. Like Sonic Mania did a great thing. They kind of embraced that feeling. A lot of people are saying that it's almost like I had a friend who told me it's like kind of like a walking simulator because you just like hit right and he just goes and like there aren't as many obstacles in your way at this point. So now it's like really satisfying to watch him just go through and you put a couple of button prompts and you're like hitting some enemies and you keep going. There's like nothing stopping your momentum. But like it's 12 levels, 2 acts each, so you're basically getting like 24 levels.
It's only $20.
It's $19.99.
It's the best
so
part.
Yeah, that was actually like because I've already mentioned I'm not the biggest Sonic fan, so it's something I didn't follow this too much. So I just assumed it was going to be a $60 game because
same.
It's one of those things like why wouldn't it be a $60 game?
Yeah.
You think about like Konami or Capcom charging too much for like Bomberman or the new Street Fighter 2 kind of remake, but it's like $20. Like, oh man, I might even pick that up. If I'm just on an airplane, I want to fiddle with a Sonic game and just.
It's the best part. You can buy it on Switch.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's awesome.
And I think I might also follow suit there, because like I don't think I gave it as much of a chance. I did give the 3D games more of a chance, weirdly enough, than the actual classic. So I think it's time that I go back and see if I really do like it or not. So maybe this game might just change my opinion. Who knows?
I mean, it's like the fun thing that's been about Sonic is that, have you ever played the game Mirror's Edge?
Oh yeah.
Like Sonic should be that.
Exactly.
Just nonstop, just moving. And it seems like I've seen some gameplay of Sonic Mania, and that's what it seems like it's like. Lots of moving. I haven't seen too many spike traps, which is nice. Because that was the thing that pissed me off the most. Like, you're running and all of a sudden, boom, it just pops up and you're like, well, fuck, I can't do that.
It's just dumb.
How am I supposed to predict that?
Then your coins go everywhere, and then it's like
Rings.
a game of.
See, that's the thing.
Excuse me.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm a Nintendo boy.
That's the thing, too. That game became just you chasing your fucking rings all day. That's how it felt. I was like, God.
It's kind of dumb.
I mean, they're essential for Super Sonic.
I know.
You need them.
Anyways.
I always thought they were the coolest, collectible in games.
Yeah. But it definitely seems like a good kind of remake of those old games. And I think the coolest part about that is the guy that sort of created these games. I mean, he was basically making Sonic fan games for years, and then I think they picked him up to do some ports, if I'm not mistaken, of some of the older kind of Sonic 2D games, and then they basically went to him to work on developing this game. So it's like having
because Sonic was or Sega team was like, we have no idea how to do it.
Don't know what to do with my hands.
So just fucking please take the torch.
It's one of those things. It's like if you have somebody that's hardcore enough where he's like making Sonic fan games for a living, it's like, yeah, you probably should bring him on to just make a Sonic 2D game.
That's the nice thing about the world we live in now with game development or making movies or TV shows. A lot of the fans have grown up now, either our age or older, and they can definitely contribute a lot to Sonic Team. This guy's he was probably a fan since he was a kid, or I don't know how old he is, but a fan since he was young.
90 years old.
19?
Wow. We went different.
He's both. He's a time wizard. It's crazy.
90-12.
He's probably been a fan for a really long time, and the guy, those are the people that you really want to make games or movies or stuff. People that have a passion about it.
Exactly.
They care about it, and that shows with the gameplay. So. And
that's the thing. Sometimes when something doesn't exist, that and if you happen to be a game developer, you just make that happen. That's what these indie gamers or indie developers are doing really well. I mean, another instance is 20XX, which is, it's basically a spiritual successor to Mega Man X. Everyone's been dying to, begging Capcom for a really
Mega Man.
Back to roots Mega Man. Yeah, none of this Mighty Number 9. They want Mega Man. You know? And people just got sick and tired of waiting. And this one developer, he was like, fine, make it myself. But he did take a different spin on it. So now it's on Steam. It's $15. It's actually on sale right now for $11.99.
That's even better.
So go quickly and catch it while you can. But it's a procedural infinite Mega Man X situation design simulator. So essentially, it's like a real big mouthful. I know. That's how he sold the game.
It's Mega Man X, right?
You said Mega Man X, I'm sold.
Yeah.
But no, every level is completely randomly generated. That's not to say that it's just some levels have 3 platforms and some have 12. But they all are. The way that's designed, each level consistently remixes itself, but stays consistent in the theme of that boss. And so, you have your traditional Mega Man games, Mega Man X specifically, where, all of them really, but you start open screen, and you get to pick one of the 9 bosses to go and defeat. This game takes that out of the equation and just gives you 3 options. So you beat a level, and then you have 3 gates that you can go through, and you can see the boss and what their kind of theme is, and you can just play it. So it continues to cycle through these bosses consistently, and it never lets you kind of have a strategy into which order to pick them. So it kind of makes it a little bit more challenging in that sense. And also the power-ups and the, what is it? I think there's a power-ups, loots, and challenges are all randomized every day. So they have weekly challenges, monthly challenges, daily challenges.
I like that idea. Yeah. The daily challenges, weekly challenges, I think it's a really cool concept, especially for it brings back to old school platforms like beating something on hard mode or, it's stuff like that. I love doing that kind of shit because when you have that kind of perfectionist mindset towards especially like old school games.
Sure.
You know, challenging stuff make it more fun, more challenging. There's challenges make it more challenging, but you know, there's just more stuff to do. It makes the replayability even higher. So.
Yeah, I think the longevity of this game is definitely infinite. Yeah. No, but like it does have a lot of replayability, and it always is like kind of putting you on the tip, keeping you on your toes, because you may end up going to another boss with a completely random set of power-ups this time around. So now you have to figure out new ways of defeating those bosses. But how do you guys feel specifically about procedural games?
I mean, it's like they're fine. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not.
I hate it.
It sucks. It's dumb.
It's
not Mega Man X.
I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like I would much rather have a game where it's like each level is perfectly designed by masters of that craft, versus a game where it's like basically a math formula is just coming up with my levels.
It's just more structured than that, though. I mean, like the level design is still, looks like it was done with care. It's just now that maybe those platforms you jumped on last time aren't in the same position. But like, it's not so,
Yeah, but I don't know. It's like it's one of those things, especially with a game like a Mega Man game or Mario game, or I've actually been playing a lot of Towerfall again. The part of the fun of those games is mastering those levels, like down to
kind of like a speedrun mentality.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you beat that game, and then you're just like, okay, I'm gonna beat it in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna beat it like without getting hit. It's it's just one of those things. It's like you're trying to perfect those courses, and you get better and better as time goes. And it's like if it's something where it's different every time, it kind of takes the fun out of those. I mean, it's one of those things. It's a spiritual successor to one of these old games, but part of the point of those old games is exactly what I'm talking about, where it's just like
the mastery of it.
Yeah, it's especially like Mega Man X. It's like once you master that game, you just like you're just zooming through it like a badass.
I do
just
agree
jumping
with
off
you.
walls
Yeah.
and shooting things. It's awesome.
I do agree with you, because like I like my games to have an end, like like an overarching goal that I can kind of finally accomplish something, as opposed to these randomly generated games. Like, yes, it becomes the pros and cons list of like, okay, I can either have a game that I can like beat many times over and keep perfecting and mastering, or I can have a game that just never ends. I can just like be surprised consistently with new challenges and all this stuff. And to me, that's why Mario Maker didn't really last long for myself, because like I really love the idea of Mario Maker, and I did have a good time with it for a while, but like it was just a lot of the the same thing just keep coming up, and just a lot of infinite different levels. But I also got sick of people spamming those like
those
blocks.
trolley
But
levels.
Yeah. That aside,
I think that kind of style game development, like game making, it's kind of more like a sports mentality. Like you're playing this game, it's kind of different. It's there's gonna be similarities from the last time you played it,
right?
But there's something new to see if you're still good. It's kind of like keeping your skills sharp, something like that. But I mean, it's still like.
But here's the point: you can't never master that game if it keeps like throwing new challenges. It's like it's both good and bad. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, it's definitely a balancing act.
Sure.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to both. It's I'd say a lot of it's just a preference. Some people are really into roguelikes and stuff like that, but I'm definitely more into somebody like perfecting just a level design, game design, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So, all those old Mario games.
Well, I really do think that indie game makers right now are doing unbelievable things. I mean, they're definitely answering the call to like hardcore fans, and like bringing back those things that we loved, and like giving new breath into those things as well.
Yeah.
But then there's other indie game makers who are really pushing boundaries and limits, and like utilizing video games to a whole nother level. And one of those things I do really want to talk about. I'm very excited when I found this out. But there's a game called Missing the Complete Saga. This is basically, I saw this through a Kickstarter. A woman by the name of Lena Kurjewal. I don't want to mispronounce that. But she's been an artist and an activist for 15 years in something that's been a growing problem in India, which is the sexual trafficking, sex trafficking. And this game specifically, she's making it to educate people and to spread awareness on sex trafficking. Essentially, this game is based out of rural India. You play as this young girl named Champa, and she is targeted by sex traffickers. And so she is essentially, you control this character through the space. It's an RPG style game, and you have to try to avoid being drug into the underbelly of that terrible, dismal fucking world. Or if you are caught, you still have a chance to escape. But either way, you are being shown through this terrible problem that country and a lot of other countries in the world are facing. But then also you are getting to see a more personal level of this problem through the eyes of someone who is, who are targeted. And essentially now they're doing a Kickstarter to get this whole game out on the way. It's 50,000 is the goal, and so far they've made about 19,000, and it's up until the end of August. And when I found this, it was just completely unbelievable that they're using video games in this way to educate other countries about this problem. And I kind of want to just talk about the sheer and utter prospects of this whole thing. And I kind of wanted to get your opinion on just like hearing that idea and how video games are being utilized in that way.
Yeah, I mean, games can be used for educational purposes. I mean, like, especially when it comes to real world problems, like, books, movies, games, all these things are indicative of what we see culturally, what surrounds us, what we know for society. Mm-hmm. Like I mentioned this before, this game Abzu, it's a game about us and our pollution to the environment. And it's all about you're underwater, you see how messed up the ocean is because of what we've done to it, but you get through that game and you can see how beautiful the ocean is. So, it's a nice thing, like and it's great that it's reflective of a real world problem. I mean, that exists everywhere, and it's terrible that it exists.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunately, it's like the world's oldest business kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's awesome to see that someone is, taking the time to say, there is a market in video games that is not being touched, and it's reflections of the problems in our world. So I mean, you could make a game like that. You could make there are games like, I mean, I guess GTA is kind of a bad example, but like GTA like shows like, the messed up sides of, the drug business, and that world is real. It exists. Mm-hmm. Urban problems. I mean, those kind of games it's awesome to see that it's happening. And I really hope that the Kickstarter can, it's successfully funded, because it's an awesome message that's being spread across the world if it succeeds, saying like, this is what happens. This is what it could be like if you were ever in that situation. That's what games are all about. Immersed in a world that, isn't real, but it very well can be real. Mm-hmm. And this is a perfect example of that. So it's awesome if it gets funded, even if it's not, I'm sure they'll find a way. Yeah. They have to. And then, for people to play that and say, wow, this is a real thing. And, I don't know if they show that in the beginning sequence or the credits saying like, this is real, this happens.
Oh, that's definitely absolutely how it's being marketed.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. So people can when you have, doesn't have to be younger people, but anyone who can play that game can like, wow, I should do something about this. Mm-hmm. I should find a way to help in some way. And that's the best way that charities get funded. I mean, lots of games, movies, books, all this media and art that we see, it's reflective of our world. So it's a great way to tell people like, hey, this is real, this is happening. You just saw an example of it, like a simulation. Yeah. Is there something you can do to help? I mean,
the same game maker, she created an earlier basically prototype of the game. It was a point-and-click adventure on iOS and Android phones. And it actually won the NASCOM Indie Game of the Year last year when it released, and it got 500,000 organic downloads.
Nice.
And also is now played internationally over 70 different countries. And
what's it called?
It's called Missing.
Okay.
It's called Missing Game for a Cause.
Okay.
Yeah. So now they're just trying to like expand on that and make a much more in-depth and more funded game in order for it to be more mass marketed. And I don't want to like misconstrue what that means, because not mass marketed for profit, but all of the proceeds are actually from this game after it's being made is going to go straight back into the missing. Oof, man, I gotta find this real quick. It's actually the same as their companies. I believe it's.
Like the profits go back to.
It's going back to it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going right back into
the charity that helps the problem. I'm assuming.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that's
I'm sorry. Here it is. Missing Public Art and Awareness campaign, which they are educating and spreading awareness around and gathering info. They're working in conjunction with police in India to gather info on where these these sex traffickings are happening, you know, and find out who were responsible for it. And they've been able, on a 99% success rate, to rescue and rehabilitate women who have been captured in this.
That's awesome.
So I mean, it's an amazing thing, and I mean, so what do you think on using video games to that extent?
Yeah, I'm so happy we're getting to a point with games now where it's not, you know, obviously we came from, you know, things like Pac-Man and Asteroids, and, you know, it's all just like, you know, all these very simple games, but now we're getting to the point with video games where it's like you can show emotion, you can, you know, teach somebody a lesson, you know, you can. There's something so interesting with video games you don't get from things like books and movies and stuff like that, where it's like you can be in that person's shoes. You can literally walk a mile.
You control what they do.
Yeah, and I believe it was I can't remember the woman's name that created the game. I
don't want to mispronounce it, so her name is Lena Kurjiwal.
That name.
Yeah.
Let's go with Lena.
So Lena.
Sure.
I was reading an article about this where she was basically talking about how one of the people she wants to direct this game towards is kind of boys, you know, young men in school, you know, especially in the cities where, you know, these women are being brought to.
Yeah. Sexual exploitation is like really prevalent.
Basically like having them play this game so you can be like, this is what's going on to women, you know, and it helps to just have these boys and young adults kind of help walk a mile in the shoes of these victims. You know, these victims from poor villages. They don't know what they're getting into, and it's just like, and I love where games are going now. Where it's like, you know, we can have the Uncharteds and we can have the Sonics and stuff like that, but we can also have games like Missing, and we can have games like Hellblade, where it's like you dive real deep into something like Psychosis.
Yeah,
so it's
absolutely.
like, you know, it's so cool that we can kind of have the best of both worlds now, just like you can with books and movies, and it's like it's just really growing as a medium. And,
I mean, video games are an art form, and art inspires, and you can be inspired to do great things. I mean, and this is something that hopefully will inspire a lot of people to take a cause to help solve a problem.
Exactly, and if anything, to spark the conversation, especially to, you know, men who potentially had any kind of desire to pay for sex. You know, like now they can think twice and, you know, hear this through the grapevine or even play this and experience it for themselves to see that side. So yeah, it's a complete. It's just really is a different way. It just shows how much video games have evolved over time, and
we've come a long way from number munchers.
And
other learning
Mavis Bacon
games.
and Math Blaster. And now we're teaching about things that are a little bit more dark and that need to be discussed.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I think, you know, indie games they're really opening a lot of different doorways and opportunities for video games. I can't see where that goes into the future as well. Yeah. But guys, I do really want to tell you, any listeners or viewers, please go visit the Kickstarter campaign, Missing the Complete Saga. At least, if you can't donate $10, which is their baseline incentive, then at least just go read up on it, educate yourself, and also, if you can, spread the Kickstarter around, because it'd be really great to see that get funded and to see that become an actual thing.
Awareness is just as important as funding, you know? The
Absolutely.
more eyes and ears that are on this, the more the problem can be solved.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep. It's like things like that, you know, like it kind of like rejuvenates my
you know, faith in humanity.
Yeah, exactly, and like you know, chips away at the cynicism. It's like, oh, great, there is hope.
Yeah.
But you know, coming out of that, if we can try to get back to levity,
get back to having some fun.
Yeah. So going into something that's actually happening right now in Anaheim, California, here right in our backyards, is the Pokemon World Championships. Pokemans. The Pocket Monsters.
Just before we get into it, why was it that teachers said that? Pokemon? Yeah, because it wasn't like...
Because it's dumb.
Like, why did...
There's obviously an asterisk over the E. Like, you say Pokemon, you know? Like,
yeah, but like, it's M-O-N.
Oh, you're talking
why
about...
did people
I'm
say,
worried about the E.
Everyone said Pokemon.
I know.
I don't understand. Like, why is it so difficult? It's clearly an O, and everyone is saying Mon.
To keep us down.
Pokemon.
It always annoyed me. Like, in school, I'm like, fine, teacher, second grade, you're going to take my Game Boy? Whatever. But at least say it as it is.
Yeah.
It's Pokemon.
It was usually, too, is like, you kids and your Pokemans
Yeah.
and your Marios.
Yeah,
you're like,
Mario,
oh, shut
you're
up,
purposely
you know how
doing
it's
this.
pronounced.
Yeah.
No, but that's happening right now in Anaheim, and it's completely amazing what they're actually doing because they're having competitions for the world titles in both, well, actually in all three. They have the trading card game, they have the Pokemon Sun and Moon games,
Nice.
they're using those versions, and then also Pokken Tournament.
Yeah.
And the prizes add up to $500,000. Yeah, I mean, like, could you imagine? It's just the first place prize for the trading card game is 25 grand.
It's
Yeah.
insane, man.
You could just buy a
insane.
real Pokemon.
You could,
Yeah.
yeah. You could genetically splice
Take my
a
cat
creature, yeah.
and just merge it with
Make something.
electricity.
Put some batteries inside of it.
It's insane. I mean, like, and they're, the first place prize for the video game for the Sun and Moon is $2,500.
Wow.
I imagine it's like less money for the prize because it's cheaper to buy a DS and a game as opposed
Yeah.
to like mounting like all these like cards. Which did you guys ever collect the trading cards?
Of
Back
course.
in the day, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, when that game originally came out, what is I? I was probably in 5th grade,
95.
and yeah, that sounds about right. And
95, 96.
I mean, people were just, my kids were just going
Yeah.
bananas for those cards,
I loved it.
and so like,
I still have my
Cardage.
binder, man,
and
like, full of all
it's
of
funny.
them.
It's like all of us like loved the cards and traded the cards and stuff. Nobody knew how to play that
Oh
game.
no, I have
No,
no idea.
not at all.
I didn't know you could play
Nobody-
that game. I thought it was just like pictures you watched.
Yeah, I thought it was like, my dad thought it was like baseball cards. You just collect them. Like,
Yeah.
it was like,
You don't
you play a
fight
game?
baseball cards.
Well, yeah.
Ken Griffey doesn't attack with.
Oh,
just like
Seiko's got a 6 swing, man, knocked out people's eyes.
I remember my grade school, they banned Pokemon. They banned Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Because kids were getting fights over cards.
Oh, I saw a fight break out on my my elementary school bus because literally the kid was like showing his other friend cards, and some dude was like yoink and ran out, and that kid was like, and he was, he was a very inhibited, shy kid.
Yeah.
He was very involved with his Pokemon and his friends.
The
but that was the
rage.
first time I saw fire in his eyes.
Yeah.
He like threw down his glasses and ran after that kid and beat the hell out of him.
That
It was a little insane.
Don't touch
that
the
boy
man's
is now
cards.
in prison. His name is Chains.
And he's got a wicked Gengar. It's nuts.
Dude, Gengar is
With the
dope.
blood of I know it is.
Gengar was fucking awesome.
No, so like they're doing that whole thing, and it's really cool. I kind of wanted. I wish we could have gone. It's going on from the 18th to 20th, so it'll be over by the time this airs. But they have like the thing called the Poke Center inside the convention center,
That's
which is
cool.
like exclusive, like plushes and all this other merchandise for.
And there's
from our
12
favorite
clones
Pokemon.
of Nurse. I was
There's
gonna say
Joy.
Nurse Joy. I was gonna say Nurse Jackie, but that's a show.
Nurse Jackie.
That too. They're trying to merge the two. It's a weird thing they're going for.
Nurse Jackie, that's funny.
Oh man, but
I'd watch an HBO version of Nurse Joy. That's basically just Nurse Jackie.
and it's like really mature and dark. Like she has to like take care of these like wounded Pokemon.
Stop
She's
making them fight.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Like
Stitching their wounds.
Like just
Popping pills, just. There's 1,000 clones of me. What's going on?
Oh, it's Westworld at that point. They just merge all
Yeah.
the shows from HBO together.
I'm down for that.
Oh man, and then also they have a Pokken tournament. Actually, I misspoke earlier. The video game for Sun and Moon is actually $10,000 for the grand prize. The Pokken tournament is only $1,200 or $1,200. Yeah, but you also get an
What a
invitation.
joke.
I know, right? But you get an invitation to the Nintendo World Championships for this year, which they're coming back after a year hiatus.
Nice.
That's gonna be kind of fun. And I think we have someone here on the couch that went to one. Perhaps.
Yeah, I meant to
Maybe?
double check that before we
You have
started.
to fact
remember?
check your own life.
Yeah,
That's
I do.
weird.
Because I'm pretty positive.
It's all the
I'm
drugs.
remembering this.
Right,
It's all them drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freebasing all the
No,
Mario levels at once.
But I guess it was 2014 or 2015. I went to during the same time as E3. I went to the Smash tournament that was going on, and
Another game that'll really make people really
Yeah.
fight. Yeah.
but so I went and I saw that, and I can't remember if they did those at the same time, but maybe they didn't. Because
I don't know.
maybe
You
that
have
was
a shirt though. That's why
2014.
I was like, I can't wait to talk about this because you had a shirt, and I was like pretty sure when I asked you, you're like, yeah, you can only get it at the thing. I was like, oh, he's been
Which shirt?
the Nintendo Championship, Nintendo World Championship shirt. You have that. It's like a red shirt. I think you wore it on the show.
It's on
comment,
it's on the
subscribe,
banner
figure out
of
if you wore
our.
that shirt. No, just kidding. Vote to see if Zach's a liar. No, just kidding.
I think I probably just got that at Target. Or something.
You destroyed my dreams. I hope it's my
It's a
chances.
dirty liar.
Yeah, but so I can't remember if that was the year after or if it happened that same year and I saw it. I can't remember now. I just remember the Smash part of it.
Well, either way, the entire event itself is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
totally.
doing the qualifiers for this year right now. They're actually using Mario Kart 7 as a qualifier, and it's like
Yeah.
hopping all over,
So
like in
weird.
Seattle,
The
LA.
weirdest
Why
thing I've
7?
ever heard
I don't
in my
know.
life. Nintendo confuses me so much
Yeah. I
sometimes.
know.
It's like they get so many things right, and then they get so many things wrong. And it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
It's you have Mario Kart 8
Yeah.
and a
on-
portable device that you can
on
bring.
a portable
Yeah.
device.
And it's
Why
like
are
the
you-
best kart game they've made. At least I think so. I think it's the
so
best
good.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like why are you gonna do Mario Kart 7? You know, a game that came out like 4 years
Yeah.
ago or something.
Yeah.
When you have another port, like a newer version on a portable,
Just
it's
Nintendo's weird.
I think they should just get away with the whole like bring your game and your console, and like that's how you like enter into the Nintendo World Championships. I think it should just be like a death match. You can dress up as your favorite character, kill the opposition, and then that's how you get invited. Kind of like a more. No, we should do Mortal Kombat. That's what I'm talking about.
Mortal
That's
Kombat?
a game.
I'm
That'd be
alright
kind
with
of
that.
fun, right?
Let's do it.
Ripping out people's. Yeah, okay, we can.
Ripping out their
So we're gonna
spines?
do our own like yeah. So it's
gonna be our Patreon video?
Yeah. but the competition kind of like compiles a bunch of whole like a slew of old school and new school Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Like in 2015, the competition actually went from Balloon Fighter, Legend of Zelda, NES, the original speed runs of that. Then it went to Super Metroid, but then it always came back all the way around to Splatoon, Mario Kart 8, Mario Maker.
Although no, it wasn't Super Metroid. It was that weird. Before they announced Metroid Prime Forces, they had they just called it like Super Ball or something like that. And
What?
Super Monkey Ball, different
no,
game.
no. So during it was the weirdest way of announcing this game because nobody knew what it was. But it's basically like the multiplayer version or part of the Metroid Forces game.
Oh.
And it's basically like, think about like a terrible version of something like
Metroid.
Metroid.
That sucks. Yeah.
Well, that's just Metroid Prime Forces. But like Rocket League, but with like weird chibi versions of Samus, like
weird.
shooting at the ball and trying to
Yeah.
get it in a goal.
Nintendo's
So that's
all over the
basically
place, man.
what this. So they brought that into the Nintendo Championships, and it was just like, what is this game? Like, and they people on the stage didn't know what they were playing
Yeah.
either. And you know what? I think this was the year after I went because I think I remember watching it on TV.
Oh,
And
really?
I was like, what is this game?
Well.
But and then they announced it. I think the next day at their like Nintendo Direct that this is Metroid Prime
This isn't a beta.
Forces,
Yeah.
and everybody was like, no, that's gonna be a bad game.
Well, who knows, man? With that new Samus Returns, so you actually can play at these qualifying events. No, not the qualifying. At the actual Nintendo World Championships, you have your moment, really, your opportunity to play a demo of Samus. Was it Super Samus Returns? Super Metroid Returns? Samus is back again, and she's pissed off more than ever.
That's
The
what's
sequel.
called.
Yeah.
Same as 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, you can play playable demos of that and of Super Mario Odyssey. So that's pretty fantastic.
wanna
The
play.
Nintendo World Championships is happening in New York City on October 7th. Are you guys gonna watch it?
Road trip.
I would be so down.
I'd be down for that. That'd be awesome.
Then we can actually get you a shirt.
Yeah.
That is legitimate.
Not from
Instead of my
Target.
filthy lies.
I think I got that at a thrift
Learned
store
so
once.
much today. Well, guys, I think that's about the show, really. That
Damn.
wraps it up. We had a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah.
Learned you're a liar. I learned you like Sonic.
Ew.
We all have our
learned that
faults.
I'm a jackass, so
A
it's
liar
all
and
comes
a-
around.
But what could be worse? Liar or someone that kind of likes old Sonic games?
It's about the same.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Guys, thank you so much for watching and listening. Really appreciate you tuning in and just sticking with us because we love seeing you every day. We see you. Super hot, sexy, nice. Please be sure to come back next week for an all-new episode on Thursday. You can bet your sweet tuchus it's going to be every Thursday as well, new episods. We'd like to give a special shout-out and thanks to Mr. DJ CUTMAN for his awesome 8-bit chiptune music that we have in that intro. Go ahead and check out his website at djcutman.com for anything else that he does. It's all great. And also, you can follow us, Go Multiplayer, at Go Multiplayer on Twitter and Instagram. You can also see like all the links and stuff that we talked about here on the show and our Twitter, and you can also see like some behind the scenes and all that good stuff, and maybe some things you haven't seen on our Instagram. So,
More of our faces.
that really does about it, yeah. You can also check our Patreon page. I believe I mentioned that before, but it's good to always
Do
say
it
it
a
again.
second time.
That's really about it, guys. Follow me personally on my Instagram at not Go Multiplayer. But you should do that.
I mean, you could do that too, I guess.
Yeah, just do that.
Guillermo_Dorado, and on my Twitter at Mas Dorado. You can also follow Zach here at...
Zach Matzganis. ZACKMATZGANIS.
That's the only reason I do this show, is just to hear that little jingle.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Javier, where can they find you?
I'm on Twitter at multiplayerhav. That's multiplayer and then JV.
It's lame.
Simple, simplistic.
Lame
I like
boy.
I'm a simple man. You're a lame-o.
That's why I like simple
pleasures.
Sonic games.
I could be worse. I could be a liar. A
This is
dirty,
true. This is
filthy
true.
liar.
You can also follow our amazing camera and audio guys at Nathan himself. You can make multiplayer Nathan. Let me try that one more time. Multiplayer Nath. I keep wanting to correct it because it's just so ridiculous, but you know what? That's how he is, and that's why we love him.
Hi, Nathan.
And we also have Mick. You can follow him at MickToTheWood on both Instagram and Twitter. But that's it. That just about does it. So
Yep.
you guys keep on grinding, and we'll see you at the Respawn next week.
We love you.
On behalf of Multiplayer, Mario would like to send a special thank you to Jaden Lawrence, Arturo Mendera, Mercedan Kroll Pitaru, and Mario Dorado. Thank you so much for watching. Woohoo!